Hey everyone, how's it going? It's me, Jeff the IT guy, and listen, 2020 done with. It was a terrible year for a lot of people, but even though it was a bad year, it was also a year that allowed us to really look at things in our field, which was IT, of course. And so while a lot of companies didn't do so hot, a lot of companies did. And the separating factor from what I've seen between between the companies that did well, those who thrived, and those who didn't thrive or failed, was their IT infrastructure, their ability to work remotely. And so that's what this video is about. This is the certifications that you should go after in 2021. Because if 2020 showed us anything, it's number one, that IT is not going anywhere. And number two, those who are certified and ready to handle these tasks are going to thrive. Before we get into it though, here's a word from our sponsor. I want to give a huge thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Havoc Shield, who offers small business cybersecurity from plan to proof. And is it time to get serious about your small business cybersecurity? Havoc Shield standard plan includes penetration testing, endpoint security, dark web monitoring, and InfoSec policy templates. So go ahead and check out Havoc Shield. Their information is in the description below. All right, so let's talk about certifications and the ones that you should be looking at, the ones that you should add to your resume. All right, so first off, I want to start with some cloud technologies, number one. And we're going to talk about AWS. All right. So as you can see, I'm AWS certified. This is my cloud specialty of choice. This is the certifications that I went after. And so AWS, or if you don't know, Amazon Web Services is a huge cloud provider. They offer everything from, Linux servers in the cloud, such like EC2. They offer, storage, whether it's on demand or, long-term storage with S3 and Glacier. They offer API services with like API Gateway. You can do, of course, Docker and Kubernetes with the ECS or Elastic Container Service. There's a lot of different things that you can do with AWS. You can set up everything to where it uses servers. So you can, of course, use like EC2, which is Elastic Compute and everything. They're EC2 servers with, regular databases, whether it's SQL, MySQL, Postgres. You can use, NoSQL with DynamoDB. You can use Amazon's own, relational database with Aurora. So there's a lot of different options, right? And it's a good thing to go ahead and get certified in AWS. If you're not already, if that's the path you want to go, there's a lot of different certifications that you can get. I think there's like 11 or 12 total or something like that. And you can focus on, your two professional certifications that you can get. Your highest level certifications are your professional architect and your DevOps, your professional DevOps. So those are the two highest. You've also got specialties like, databases, machine learning, networking. There's specialties. And of course, they've got the three associate ones, which you should go after if you haven't already, which are, your solutions architect associate, your sysadmin or your sysops, and your developer associate. And these are all on the AWS platform. And of course, you've got Azure, which is Microsoft's offering on the other side. Now, not everyone uses AWS. If they're not using AWS and they're in the cloud, though, then they're using Microsoft. That's really your two biggest flavors. Most Fortune 500 companies are going to be on Microsoft. Well, I shouldn't say most, but a lot of them are going to be on, Microsoft. Microsoft is, of course, a business leader in business software. So, Microsoft is definitely going to be out there. With Azure, you can do pretty much the same thing that you can with AWS. Everything's called differently. And, of course, it's going to focus on Microsoft stack. So, your Power BI, your Microsoft Dynamic, C#, of course, Microsoft SQL, all of that stuff, your Active Directory, all of that is going to be in Azure. And of course, you can go after that. There's a lot of different certifications and there's a lot of different training out there. So that's the two large cloud providers that I would suggest going after. So you've got AWS on one hand, Microsoft Azure on the other. But that's not the only certifications that we're going to talk about, of course. There's a lot of them. So the next certification we're going to talk about is Docker. If you don't know what Docker is a container service which allows you to run, virtualized containers on top of your OS. And so instead of it being like a VM, because it is kind of like a VM, but it's not. It's a container. It's its own segregated thing that's different. The way it uses resources is a lot different. But Docker is very, very popular. So popular, in fact, like I said earlier, that Amazon has its Elastic Container Service, which uses Docker on ECS or Kubernetes. So you do have that option. So Docker is, a great thing to get into right now, especially if you're a developer, if you're into DevOps and stuff. You want to learn Docker. Docker is, like I said, it's a big deal right now. It's one of the main decisions for a lot of people on whether or not they want to, purchase an M1 Mac, the new Apple Silicon Macs. Without Docker support, it's a no-go for a lot of developers and DevOps, So that's just how big it is. You've got your DCA and your DCE certifications. I believe DCA, DCE. I hate acronyms, but those are the ones you've got. You've got your associate and your expert. So definitely go after Docker or Kubernetes. Of course, that's the other side of it. You can definitely go after Kubernetes if you like. But you do want to learn a container service of some kind, especially if you're going to focus on Amazon. Elastic Container Service, ECS, is a big part of the Amazon stuff, so you want to go ahead and learn that. It'll help you out in the future. We're talking about things that you need to do, not things that I'm just going to tell you that you can do and you shouldn't. So those are, you should definitely learn, like I said, Docker, Kubernetes, AWS, Microsoft Azure. Sorry that I'm moving around so much. Just trying to get comfortable. Anywho, so going on further, if you are looking to start your career in IT, or you want to become a government contractor, then you definitely need to go after the Security Plus. And the Security Plus gets a lot of flack a lot of times because it is very rudimentary as far as cybersecurity goes, but it also focuses on physical security. However, if you want to be a government contractor that works in IT, you have to have the certification. It is 100% required on start day that you have this certification. Okay? So if you're wanting to get into cybersecurity or something like that, you need to go ahead and get your Security Plus, especially if you want to work for the DoD. The test isn't super hard. You can probably learn everything you need to in about 3 to 4 weeks if you put a lot of time into it, or any time, if you put any sort of significant training into it, you can get it done in 3 to 4 weeks and you are done. The test isn't super expensive. Most places, of course, will reimburse you for it. So you'll want to do that. So you should definitely get the Security Plus. It's for managers. That's going to be like your director of ITs, like me, your CTO, CIOs, people who aren't going to get their hands super dirty all the time. And what I mean by super dirty is actually in the weeds doing things like that. Those are going to be your folks who go after that. And your CIS or your CISSP is going to be for those who actively work, actively lead teams day after day. These are the two top tier cybersecurity certifications that you can get, and you should get them if you're interested in cybersecurity. And if you are interested in cybersecurity, you're going to go get them. You're going to go get these, right? All right, so we'll go even further. We talked about cybersecurity. Those are, of course, you can get like your CYSA, your CEH, which is Certified Ethical Hacker. Your CYSA is like your beginning to cybersecurity and now analyst or whatever it stands for, that CompTIA offers. There's a couple other by CompTIA. Like I said, your CEH. They've also got your Pen Test Plus. These are different things that you can do. Cybersecurity, Security Plus. All of these, if you want to nail down, of course, a certification that you should go after, you need to, of course, look at what it is that you want to do. But I'm just going over some of the ones that you should definitely look into. Moving on, we're going to talk about system admins now. And so a system admin is someone who, of course, manages a system or administrates a system. This is going to be like your Linux guys who set up Linux servers, your Windows guys, your Windows Server guys. I guess that's about it, Linux and Windows. So, of course, like I said, you got the AWS sysadmin or sysops, as it's sometimes called, that you can, of course, focus on. And these are just, like I said, people who are going to administrate the systems or the servers. So, of course, these are roles that you'll want to go after if you're interested in this stuff. You're going to want to get, your Linux certifications. There's several out there. You can get one from like CompTIA. You can get some from like Red Hat. You can get your Red Hat Enterprise Linux certifications. There's all sorts of Linux certifications you can get. Those are just two. You can check out like Linux Foundation or whatever. Just Google stuff, and you'll be able to find out what certifications you need to get. But these are definitely some that you want to get for Windows. You can get your Windows Server. You can actually mix that in with like Windows Active Directory, which is always good. Here where I live, Active Directory guys are hard to find, and when you do find them and they're good, you pay them a lot of money. So we've got a lot of like Fortune 50, Fortune 100 companies in the city that I work, and so listen, those guys are killing it. So you definitely want to look into that if you're interested in more of the server side of things. Definitely Linux, definitely Windows. Okay, and of course you've got your networking. So like your Cisco certifications, your CCNA, CCAMP, whatever it is. You want to go after your CWMPs. There's all sorts of certifications that you'll want to get for networking or wireless technologies. If you want to be a Cisco guy and work on your Cisco stuff, go ahead, start out with your CCNA, move up from there. If you don't want a vendor-specific one, you can, of course, get your CWMP, which is Certified Wireless Networking Professional. They've got other ones as well. That's more of a top-level certification, but those are definitely some that you should look into if you're interested in networking. So go ahead, look for those, Spend some time, figure out what it is that you need to start. Figure out if you need to have a year of experience, if you need to have, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever, like for whenever I was talking about the cybersecurity, the CISSP and the CISM, they require 5 years of relevant experience. And that can be taken away with school. It can be taken away with on the job. It can be taken away with previous certifications. Things like that all equal into this 5 years. Some of these have prerequisites that you have to meet before you can take them. And the AWS ones, they don't. You can just go in and take them. I suggest, of course, that you put in the time. They can be some pretty tough tests. So I think that about covers every facet of IT. Like your networking, your system admins, your cybersecurity guys, your cloud guys or girls, cloud guys or girls. I believe that about covers it all. Maybe, of course, you can always go after, like I said, your CEH if you want to be an ethical hacker, your Pen Test Plus if you want to learn how to do penetration testing. There's literally a ton of certifications out there. These are just the big ones that I see they're in high demand right now. Extremely high demand. These are all ones. If I left anyone out, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. So let's talk about the certifications that I'm going to get this year, and I want to hear about the ones that you're going to get. So I am going to continue to focus on my AWS certifications. I still want to get like I want to get the DevOps professional. I want to get the architect professional. I want to get some of the specialty ones, like the networking specialty one and the security specialty one, maybe databases. I'm definitely going to get Docker. I want to get Docker certified, probably both the DCA and DCE. I definitely want to get Linux certified just because, why not? I like Linux. And, of course, I'm going to go after the CEH and the Pen Test Plus. Those are two that I really want to do. I hope I make it to those. We'll see. I think it'll be really cool. I just really hope it will. So I guess we'll see if it's as cool as I think it'll be, right? But that's what I'm hoping, right? That's what I'm hoping is that I want to try and get between 4 and 6 this year in 2021. So let me know which ones you all are going to focus on in the bottom, right? Or in the description, not the description, but the comments below us. Let me know what certifications you're going to focus on this year in 2021. Are you going to go after AWS? Are you going to go after your Azure? Are you going to go after Docker, Linux, your cybersecurity ones? Maybe you want to get like all the Cisco ones, or whatever it is that you want to do. I want to know below in the comments what certifications you're going after in 2021. So let me know. I love talking to y'all. It's been a whole lot of fun. I love having these conversations with you. Stay safe out there. Have a great year, guys. Have a great year. I hope that you accomplish all the goals that you set out to accomplish. I hope that 2021 is a great year for learning and investing in yourself. And as always, keep it real.